Surprise. I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me. How's it going? I'm watching the chat. Apologies for the delays. It's taking a moment for everything to roll in, as it were. As it were. It's Friday. I'm drunk. It's good. We're good. We're fine. We. Don't call us crazy, that's a slur. Fuck, I've used that joke already. Greeting from Vancouver, BC. Yo! I'm in Vancouver too. It's awesome possum, but Bonnie Henry. She's a... Never mind. Did you inherit Shoes 480p camera? I did. Please don't create a fake reality, Wanda. Why not? That's like, there's going to be the, honestly, if like I get my depression in check, I can do like the whole Ella Grant cinematic universe. It's going to be the characters. I have big dreams, but I'm nervous and the thoughts are kind of immaterial. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm still, I've got so many ideas like swirling around in my head for part 2 of Real Talk. Like so many. The running contender is I'm going to have Valerie on all the TVs. And for those of you who just tuned in, what's in the box? Right now, it's trauma, darling. So, is that Iggy from JoJo in the back? Actually, no. This is Percival. He's in the baby. Up there. This is Harold, but his friends call him Boner. So, yeah. That's, it looks like a wormhole opened and sucks your room into the 1980s. I haven't given this dog a name, but he really reminds me of my cousin's dog, and her name is Scout. So I'm gonna name her Scout. Oh, my apartment is wild, you guys. Okay. So there's like the bedroom in there. And there's all this. Beaded curtain in the kitchen. Yeah, we're just we're vibing. There's TVs everywhere. It's like part of what I kind of do for work. Cathode ray tubes, my darlings. Oh, and they all have names too. This is Tim. This is Tiny Tim. Phoebe's down there. This is Shelly. That's Chad. Chad's a 27-inch Sony Trinitron. And there's a 20-inch whose name is Chadlet. And there's Joaquin, whose name is Joaquin because, well, I don't know. I felt like he was a Joaquin. And then there's Elvis over there, and Yvonne, who came with Elvis. And there's another black 27-inch Electrohome whose name is currently Elvira, but I think Elvis and Elvira are kind of competing. So if you guys can think of a better name for a big black TV with bunny ears, I'd love to hear them. I'm going to catch up on the chat now, so sorry if I get silent for a second. You got that drug dealer in a 90s crime drama aesthetic going. This is true. This is the key to my stash. I'm gonna turn these off so I don't get no burning, because I don't have no way to fix that. There is no way to fix that. I mean, maybe they just need to be degassed, but I don't have one of those either. I'm stumped. Eartha's good. Oh, Bubba's cute. Bubba's cute. I thought you didn't have a big 90s wardrobe. So, in regards to the channel, I know that my calling card is like 1950s content. Daniel. So I was most known for doing 1950s content, but I'm afraid that grew out of fashion. With me personally, as I transitioned into adulthood, I can do a British accent. So that probably made no sense. So I was kind of like, I felt really trapped, like as a housewife, if that makes sense. And just like, you know, kind of, I didn't know what to do as far as political commentary went that wasn't Betty Sue or staging all the fiction into the intro. And then just doing a normal video on the end, which is a viable format usually. That's not transatlantic. It's called received pronunciation or something. Or we could go really aristocratic. I can't do it anymore. I used to do it back when I was a boy and had the vocal range of a castrato. Oh, those were the days. So I became like really obsessed with like 80s aesthetics and like obviously technology. And did I just say aesthetics? I don't know. Aesthetics and like like just everything. So I really wanted to kind of like bring the channel to that, but I wasn't really sure how. So I was like, okay, I really want to do this, but what's the best way to put it? All my older videos were heavily inspired by movies and film, but lately my personal sort of flair has been in the vibe of like public television, and things like, you know, there's a video that's going to go up after Real Talk Part 2 that's like a 1990s themed Dexedrine commercial. And the way I did Real Talk 2, how I got that look was I shot and edited it digitally, and then I taped it with a VCR. And then I scanned the tape back on that VCR. Thank you, anonymous poster. So yeah, where were we? So I scanned the tape with the VCR, and then I didn't like how that VCR looked, so I popped it into a Toshiba VCR TV combo unit and recorded it on that. Or no, I just played the tape recorded in the original VCR back on that, and scanned it. And it looked really good, so I posted it. So, like, do you remember? So, how do I say it? The first kind of, I didn't get tired of the 50s, but I felt like it kind of was a, you know, the symbol of unattainable, untouchable glamour. And that's not really the vibe I have anymore. I'm a lot more strange. How do I say that? A lot more like, you know, I'm not going to say 80s, 90s because I was born in 2000. Trophy wife or anything. Or I'm not a wannabe Grace Kelly. And I felt really trapped in that character. And there's a video from the channel called The Take, and it's about Betty Draper. And I remember watching it and it just giving me chills. Like, it's talking about how she feels powerless to escape the prison of her life. And I'm just like, because like the clothes that she wears and shit in that video were exactly the kind of clothes I would buy to film videos. And I filmed so many videos, but so many, like, they're all on the cutting room floor. Like, that's the tragedy of 2020, was that I was filming the whole time. But there was just like a lot of other goings on. You sound different. That's because I went from smoking to vaping. Fuck, I needed that so bad. I give it to you. Don't follow my example, kiddies. I was a heavy smoker starting look. You're right. It is less cool. Like, I mean, I'd still smoke in videos, if that makes sense. Like, I'd still smoke in videos. Like, I have herbal cigarettes, the kind they use on Mad Men, if that makes sense. Who's your favorite character on Mad Men? I wish I was a Joan, but I mean, Megan's supposed to be Canadian, so. I'd love to see some cutting room floor content. You know, honestly, I still have it all. Like, I was just very obsessive about it. And it never really was good enough. So if I can whip something up, you know, I mean, maybe. You know, I filmed 2 versions of my. Thank you, Kenzie. Fuck, where was I? Oh, shit. Fuck, I lost it. I've had a long day of doing nothing. And those are the most exhausting. Aw, that's sweet, Jason. Come on, chat. Oh yeah, cutting room floor. So for the top surgery video, I filmed 2 versions of it. One is Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct, and one is Elvira, because the first one wasn't good enough. And I spent so much money and so much effort on each. And that's the thing, like Real Talk was the most expensive video I've ever done. And I've made next to no money off of it. Like it's got 10,000 views, but that video took me a month to make. Like I did everything in that video from scratch, with the exception of most of the music. And like it was just such a big ordeal, from the costumes and the set and everything like that. But it was worth it in my opinion, because in my opinion, it's the best video I've ever done. I think it's the most true to my current aesthetic and where I am at now in my life and the technology that rules it. Part 2 is going to be dope. I'm going to have Valerie on a bunch of TV sets. And it's going to be just like very poltergeist-esque. It's gonna be really good. I'm just catching up on the chat. Thank you, watch ... It doesn't say the rest of that. So yeah, I'm thinking about part 2, and part 2 is going to be a lot more about the goings on of my life. And I'm not really sure how much tea I want to spill, because some of it's like pretty bad. So I don't even know if it's ever even going to happen, but if I ever do, it's going to be like an intro to another video, and it's just going to be like a sort of abstract conclusion to the first thing versus going into another thing. More like a finale that wasn't in the first one before, like maybe a shorter video is what I'm thinking. More like just the ending of the first one. I'm thinking maybe a Stranger Things-esque void with a television set, something a little more simple than all of them. And that's what I'm going to try and do. But once again, I need the place to film it, and it's going to be an ordeal in itself. So I'm working on it. It's coming. I promise. Are you on good terms with Shu? She kind of ghosted me. So did ContraPoints, even though I answered her emails for like 4 months. But that's life. VHS or Betamax? VHS, just because you can still buy the tapes new. Like I buy, where is one? Like I buy these TI 120 tapes, you know, just pretty standard stuff, from the dollar store near my house for $5 a piece. And since they're Canadian dollars, they're not much. So I get quite a few of those. And that's how I get the effect, basically, is with blank tape. But I want to do a video, like a bit of passion project, and the working title is The Great VCR Experiment. So with my little system, using a bunch of adapters and recording back and forth onto tape and scanning it back again and recording it digitally or onto a DVD or onto another tape to make it look more like just analog as fuck. God, that's the most hipster thing I've ever said. Fuck me. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'd like to strike that from the record. So basically, in the Great VCR Experiment, I have this hypothesis that like each VCR has records with a different look to it. But I have another hypothesis that it differs on vintage tape. So I've been acquiring VCRs and tapes like from different eras for a couple of months now, and I've been working on like test footage to record with each possible combination and compare them. But I don't know who the hell's ever going to watch that. But it'll be the usual like humorous kind of video, but the aesthetic, like it'll all be 4:3. But I don't know how to explain that, or who would ever watch it, but I definitely want to do it. Why not just shoot on actual tape? Because okay, so I actually do have quite a few camcorders. I have a couple of big over-the-shoulder ones from the mid-'80s that use full-size VHS tapes, and I have one Panasonic Palmcorder IQ that is fully functional, but its battery dies really quickly, and the other ones either don't have a battery or their battery doesn't charge. Like the two big ones either don't have a battery or their battery doesn't charge. The little one works, and then I have another version of the little one that's broken that I found in a thrift store that I figured I could use if I ever needed to like replace a part in the other one, the one that does work. If people bought Scott the Waz's VHS of the internet and you, someone will watch your VHS tapes if you sell them. It will happen. That's a good idea. I should just sell the tapes that I use to record the videos. I don't know who would buy them, but I'd be grateful. Thrift stores, why didn't I actually learn about what they were until last month? I have zero possible explanation for that. Can you do a tutorial on how to do the transatlantic accent? Well, I've never been formally trained myself, but I suppose I could try. People 25 and over will buy your joke tapes. You know, honestly, probably. I mean, like, I'm a kid, so it's like, or I'm not a kid no more. I'm like a few months away from being able to drink in the States, but it's not looking like I'm going to be able to go there anytime soon. Do you ever talk with that accent in public? Oh no, that was like Eva Gabor. That was like Hungarian, which is also a vibe. Or Audrey Hepburn, kind of. It's also a vibe. It's like vaguely European somewhere, you know. I'm just a kid and my life is a nightmare. Too real. Hey, I was wondering if you had any tips for making your voice more feminine. I don't know where to start. Don't talk from down here. Talk from up here. Or better yet, up here. It'll require more shallow breaths and a little more upward pressure, but it'll come naturally. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy, or something along those lines. What's your favorite David Lynch film? Mulholland Drive. Because Blue Velvet is perverse and scandalous. Hi, Lovey. Oh, my mom's in the chat. Everybody. Are you into raw time on YouTube? Is that porn? Is that porn? Because I've never heard of it. But it sounds like porn. How do you feel about WandaVision? My mom got rid of her Disney Plus, so I can't watch it. Mom, everybody, please, just like help me out here. I'm the retro queen of small channels, and I've never been able to watch WandaVision. Or I could just like bite the bullet and hop onto my, like, I'll figure it out. Trixie or Katya? Oh, Katya. I've met Katya. I met Katya on my 16th birthday, and it was so iconic. I loved her. Did you get the ship yet? What, like a boat? Or like, oh. I'm currently embroiled in a long distance. It's complicated. And no, it's not the same one as the last time I was active, who basically dumped me on Valentine's Day, but like we're not gonna get into that. Oh my god, thank you, Tiffany and Junk Saint. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you so much. What kind of stims do you have? You know, honestly, I've never really paid attention to them. I just found out what they were recently. And I haven't really read up too much about it since. So where in Nova Scotia was your grandmother from? I have family all from all corners there. Are you still watching? Do you know where she was from? It wasn't Cape Breton. Was it Halifax? No. It wasn't Halifax. It was somewhere else. Mommy dearest. Mother darling. Please help me. Mother. Mama. Mama. Oh. Inverness, Nova Scotia, which is somewhere in Nova Scotia, I think. At some point, she was in Nova Scotia. Opinion on Grimes. She's a strange and wiry little woman, and I love her for it because she's iconic. Do you like Dario Argento? You bet. Are you Team Liz or Team Megan? I mean, Megan's Canadian and the Queen's on our money, but no one has any money, so I guess Megan. How much would you charge to edit video? I love your video editing skills. My email address is in the description of all my videos. You should absolutely drop me an email tonight. Describing the project and anything along those lines. I don't know. I don't know too much about Wisconsin. I've never really thought too much about what the rest of the accent would sound like beyond the general consensus of the pronunciation of Wisconsin. But I've never heard someone from Wisconsin. Oh, I sent an email and an Instagram message. Thank you so much. I've been in a pit for a while. It's complicated, but she's trying to get back in the game. So if you want to send me another Instagram message, I'll check it once the stream is done, and I'll be in touch. I have no idea where, like, I've never been to Wisconsin. I have no vague. Oh, I hate that. I hate that. Are you friends with the lovely Lauren Chen? Yes. Like, we disagree on very, 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 very many things. But I met her she lives in Montreal. I met her before, like 2 or 3 nights before the snip in Montreal. And Bunty too, and his girlfriend at the time, and it was just so wonderful, and they were just all such wonderful people, or like depending on who you ask, I guess. But Bunty is a close friend of mine, and Lauren was wonderful to me. You know, even though she has some contentious views on trans people and everything else, but very simple, very, very pretty, like. And taller than I was expecting, too. She's like 5'7". I don't know who Jelly Bean is. Holy shit, it's Avril Lavigne. Jenna Shaw, really? The more you know. What's your favorite accent and language? I'm very, very partial to Europeans. What's your current opinion on Blair White? In the interest of leaving the incident in the past, I'm going to say no comment. Accent to mock Pittsburgh. Oh, do they say Wooter? Or is that somewhere else? If you have no knowledge of the incident, you're not going to get it from me. Because if I was like I just said some really immature shit on the internet when I was like 18, and she had a bad reaction to it, and it was out of context, and the whole thing was just very dramatic, and it tainted a very good friendship. And she basically stopped talking to me, but I've let it rest. I've moved on. We're not in touch. I don't reach out. I don't try and reach out to her anymore, and she doesn't reach out to me. But I'm like, no specific story. Like, it's old news to me. I don't know if that made any sense, but it's complicated. Is hate speech free speech? It's complicated. Come on, chat. I can't really snap my fingers, but I can. Hi, Ella. I've always enjoyed your videos and content. Thank You have a great sense of humor. I hope to see much more of you in the future. Thank you so much. I love complicated crap. Oh, yeah. Always have and always will. It's what I do. What do you value most in life? I value freedom. Well, I wish I could say the same thing because here in British Columbia, we don't have very much of it right now. We're at least not for a while. What do you value most in life? Marijuana. This thing. Or my family and friends and all the people who make this very complicated existence possible. What are those twig-looking things behind you? It's the world's saddest fake palm tree. It's been through too many moving trucks and now it's just all dented. God, I should spam London. I should get her to join me. I'm going to send her the link. Can I? Okay. How do I invite participants? Can I? Oh, I don't think I can. Damn, I was going to nag London and see what she was doing. How come you don't speak Quebecois? Ho, ho, ho. Because I'm from Alberta. And I live in British Columbia. So, are there any foods from other countries that you get random cravings for? Yes. When I was in Slovenia, there was a soda called Kokta that is like the best. And then there's this I get it from like a Mexican grocery store in Vancouver. And it's like a big ball of tamarind paste on a stick. And if anybody who's like into Mexican stuff knows, like it's got like a yellow wrapper on it and it's very, very good. I really like salty plum stuff. I like big Turks are Canadian. So forget that. Now I'm just thinking about candy. No. Let me guess, Barbara showed you around. No, I didn't. This was before Barbara's time. That was when I was 16. You fuck with Nanaimo bars. Only if they've been in the fridge. Because it makes a difference. It really does. If you ever come back to YouTube, will your content still have that commentary vibe? I actually just uploaded a video called Why I Quit Political Commentary that you should absolutely go and watch. Not right now, but you should like open a new tab, go find it, click it, pause it, and then like come back to it later because it's iconic and it was expensive. God damn it! Like, also my Czech ex had like a bunch of cocktail in a mini fridge in his room, and it was like my favorite thing. And I was like, this is an empty taste. Can you sing? Only with like several more drinks in me. And like no one around. Evening from Croatia. Croatia, do you have cocktail? What was the most expensive video you've ever done? Real talk. Real talk. It just ballooned. But no, please go watch it. It took me so long to make. And and it was like, it was very, like, I did everything from scratch, like everything you see, like it was so much to do, and the algorithm is not my friend because I haven't uploaded in like a year. So if you haven't seen it, you should watch it later. Hey, that was a snap. Do you want to learn any languages? I like Russian. I actually know how to read and write in Russian. Like I know how to write in Cyrillic, and I know how to translate it into spoken or into Latin, but I don't know any of the language themselves. When I got suspended in grade 10 for drugs, there was for some reason I decided it would be fun to teach myself Cyrillic, and it held up when we went to Eastern Europe that summer. And we needed to navigate and shit, and I was the only one who knew how to translate the street signs into the Google Maps. And it was just it was a moment. Do you like Dua Lipa? I like a couple Dua Lipa songs, but it's not really my scene. Not really my scene. I like to light incense and listen to Depeche Mode and just like bawl my fucking eyes out. Because I actually lived in 1994. How do you feel about motorcycles? They're a hazard. They killed like my best friend's mom, or not like my best friend, but very close friend of mine. The like bad accident, like when she was a kid, like it was out of nowhere, and it was entirely someone else's fault. That you're just so unprotected. Yeah, she was the she was the cyclist. Are we to expect more VHS aesthetic videos in the future? Can you pronounce these words? What? Do you keep up in touch with Blair White, Theron Meyer, Miss London, or Susanna Morose? Blair White, no. Susanna Morose, no. Miss London, yes. And Theron Meyer and I live in close proximity of each other, and we're best buds. In fact, Real Talk was filmed at her apartment. What's there in these days? She's good. She's good. She's moving on. She's good. She's got a bright future ahead of her. That does not involve YouTube or the internet whatsoever. And good for her. Are you playing any games at the moment? Unfortunately, I do not have the disk space. What, you know, in my day, I had like a little laptop, and I had a Cities Skylines and like 16 gigabytes of custom content, and it was such a moment. And then my computer couldn't take it anymore, so I deleted it, and then did the exact same thing with The Sims 3, which, I mean, who hasn't? The small TVs remind me of the small black and white CRTVs for camping. Actually, this one's in color. This one's black and white, but he don't work no more. He needs a weird outlet extension cord powered after thing from Japan, which I don't have. Do you go to college or plan to? Well, so I was in film school. And I started in 2020, and then December rolled around and the winter break between the terms rolled around, and I'm like, look, I can't do this anymore because it's like online and not getting my money's worth, and it's too much. I had so much other personal life stuff going on. So I'm pausing until February. So Sims 4 is the best. You know, objectively, I would agree because you can change the height of the ceiling, but I also have to disagree because it requires mods to like get the create a style kind of feature that you have in The Sims 3, which I like the best because I just built houses and made like custom content and stuff. Do you interact with Calvin Guerra? You know, I don't follow him too much. But like last I checked, we were friendly, you know. I know there were some goings on with Calvin Guerra recently, but I don't really know what all that was about. Have you been to the stuff in the Democratic People's Republic of Canada? Is Ariel a turf? Are you still collecting vintage clothes? No, I've migrated to electronics. And clothes when I see them, which isn't often. But you know, every once in a while. I found like an MTV shirt recently. That was like, I love it so much. Actually, I think we went through Croatia on the train, just like overnight though. Sorry about that. Have you heard Green Day's new album, Dookie? No, I haven't. Is there any music video that you would like to live? Shoes by Tiga. Tiga. It's a vibe. That or One Word by Kelly Osbourne. Any plans for future short films? I've got like a bunch of good ideas just like swirling around in my head that I'm literally writing down because when I need to like crank ideas out in film school in February in like no time at all, it'll be good. The one that came out today is it's a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it's about a girl who works at a store called Video Shack. And it's like set in the 80s, but it's about this like crooked company selling like TVs that are secretly watching you. And it's like a whole big thing, but it would be like a parody of, you know, just it would, in terms of tone, it would be very much like a movie called Night of the Comet, I think it's called. And like very Dario Argento and very Stranger Things 3, you know, like it'd be very that. But that's those sort of things like pop into my head all the time. So it's like, I don't know if there's anything I can film that with like one person and like no money. Absolutely. I'll work on it. What kind of electronic stuff specifically? I mostly VHS, TVs. I have a lot of stereo stuff too. I have a reel-to-reel, and then just smaller stuff. like Twinkie themes. Do you watch D'Angelo Wallace? I do. Do you have any thoughts on the Shane Dawson controversy? Which one? I stopped following him ages ago. More 50 style videos, please, or maybe 80 style. Glad to see you back. Thank you. 80 style coming right up. I'm like 50 style is a little tricky for me. I could maybe pull off like a film noir moment, but like the full 50s glamour, like I don't have the space for it. Like to set up the green screen and do anything like that. Like I don't have the space to pull off that aesthetic. I could maybe pull off like something pretty groovy, some like late 60s shit. I don't know. I miss Penny. Me too. I'm just like catching up on the challenge. Do you believe in ancient alien theory? Is that like those documentary sites that I get ad for, like Gaia Consciousness or whatever? Do you hear that Sue and Marcus have a daughter born on St. Patrick's Day? Yes. Oh my God. I was talking to them on Twitter. They're awesome. I met Sue when I was in Scotland the winter right before COVID started. And it was I love her. Like she's such a sweetheart and just awesome lady. Marcus didn't come that day, unfortunately, but like damn, I was really looking forward to meeting him. Are you gonna do more streams in the future? Almost certainly. But like it's I need to find it. You know, I like when I'm feeling it. When the vibe is right. Like I think I have like another 45 minutes in me. What do you mean my connection is unstable? Okay, it was just barking at me about how my connection was unstable, and I'm like, you're right next to the router. Like right next to it. To be fair, I do have the cheapest internet money can buy. So hang up the phone to clear the line. I'm not that old-fashioned. I'm close. I'm close. I would love to get like an old computer monitor and like hook it up with adapters and get like a separate keyboard and use that. Like get a laptop dock and just have like a, you know, whole moment with like an old Windows 95 monitor or something. Thoughts on Sam Collins? Don't know too much about him, but like, I mean, we've talked, we're good, but I don't follow him. Talk to LGR I love LGR. LGR, love him. I love LGR. I love TechMoan, but my favorite has to be Technology Connections. What is your go-to takeout food? Okay, so there's this bakery, or there's like a chain of bakeries in Vancouver that's like open 24 hours and they have skip. fantastic red velvet cake and these like pastry things. And they're just to die for, and they're not that expensive, and they're available 24 hours a day. And we love that. Oh, takeout. Yeah, Taco's a good restaurant in Vancouver. Hey, Natalie. Oh my goodness. She ghosted me. Yeah. Ouch. You were tight. Like, OMG, I love technology connections. Did you watch the video on CFLs? Yes, I did. I watched it this morning. That was so interesting. Who's your fave political YouTuber right now? None. I'm out of that. Click. Or I'd like to be. But my fave my fave people I've met through political YouTube. Or I mean, I suppose the closest you could consider to still being in politics would be Ready to Glare. Necessarily, she's more like a moral character, I suppose, than just general politics. So I don't know if I'd really consider her as political necessarily as someone like Blair White. Have you any celebrity crushes? Oh my god, my ultimate wet dream is both Hemsworth brothers, a motel room, and a bathtub full of cocaine. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Like, do you like Sean Head? I do. But I haven't heard from her in a while. She doesn't really return my texts anymore. Okay. Moving on. Yeah, there were like some events, some chaos swirling in the political community. And I was just kind of I am over it, I guess. Glad you have the background noise. Well, thanks. Have you heard the new song from Oasis, Wonderwall? No, I have not. What was I going to say? It is 7 of... Oh, Blair faked the results on our compass law. Please, chat. I'd love to read you and catch up with you and engage. 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 Do you like political YouTuber who you meet with? Eh. Do you read all chats and choose not to answer the bad ones, or do you just answer whatever happens to catch your eye? Your aesthetic is better than ContraPoints, by the way. Thank you. I agree. And I do read all of them, but I've admittedly got a couple of drinks in me, so I don't quite catch all of them in time. I want to hint after your last video. What's in the box? Trauma. Or it's a video cassette. It's a video cassette. It's a haunted video cassette. It's a two-way video cassette. You can interact with the recording. If you're watching this video, that means that you own... Or no, what's the line? If you're watching this recording, then that means that you own a video cassette recorder. Is like my favorite jingle. Oh, what are you drinking? Oh, I just like got some vodka sodas because they're the lowest calorie. I don't know. They're knockoff nudes, if that helps. What do you think of your mom jokes? A little passe. Are you still doing editing for other people, or have you stopped? If you are, who? I was in talks with Nerd City to edit for him, but like once again, like I kind of just didn't like stopped hearing from him. What was I gonna say? So that fell through. I suppose, like, I mean, I'm down to edit for other people, but I haven't been looking for editing work, mostly because I'm not quite confident enough. I know I probably could. I know I probably could if I like showed them some YouTube stuff, but the problem is that's not the kind of stuff most people looking to hire a video editor are going to be looking for. They're going to be looking for relatively plain Jane stuff, which I can also do, but it's not as easy to advertise. How long until you drop part 2? I'm working on it. I'm ironing out the script. I'm ironing out like everything, the costumes, the blah blah blah. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Why haven't I seen your vids in forever? You should watch the video I just uploaded. For those of you who aren't aware, I like uploaded a video about a month ago, or almost a month ago now. I keep saying I just uploaded it, but because it feels like yesterday. Because time has no meaning right now. So it's I uploaded it. It's my last upload, but you should absolutely watch it. It's all about why I quit political commentary, and it's really, really aesthetic. Hello from the UK. It's past your bedtime. Australia. I don't know what time it is in Australia. It's early 2 a.m. That was a little more transatlantic, but I don't know. Are there any videos that you aren't proud of for insert reason here? And are any collaborations that you regret? Susanna is pretty problematic. There were some problematic goings on with her and other trans creators that I caught wind of after we did a collab about free speech, which is great. And very, very 2017 or 2018 probably. So there was that. Any videos that I'm not proud of, like why I won't date trans men is pretty problematic. I've thought about changing the title of that to something a little more appropriate to the contents of the video, because the video is not actually that mean, but the title's pretty, like it's pretty pointed, you know? And like, even though the moral of the video is more that it goes back to an inner sensitivity to certain things. The title's not the most, so I've become more aware of stuff like that, but I'm admittedly not sure what to do with it. Who knows? Do you ever look back at the apex of the skeptic community and cringe beyond belief? Those were the days. Is it true though? Would you not date trans men? Unless he was taller than me and had the surgery, I would get the worst dysphoria. Or like it would be almost Like, because I get dysphoria from stuff like that. Like, that's why I don't date like cis girls or trans girls, because it makes me more self-conscious about certain things. I'm just catching up on the chat. What's your minimum height for a guy? 5'11". Because I'm 5'8". 6'2" is a little picky. So there's not that many of those guys. Oh, yeah. Well, my long distance is complicated is quite tall. How's Pooja? Bored. Well, the thing is that it's like I'm 5'8", and it's just like sometimes it's a little too close to home. So it's like I'm just like internally to someone with gender dysphoria. That makes you feel a little more masculine, which is not what you want. Even though it sounds shallow, it's really like a deep-seated psychological thing. And it's like a almost like a trauma response. It's like, you know, it's like cutting your hair short. It's just like it. I don't like. I've tried it, and yeah, it was bad. Like, have you ever seen the movie Videodrome? I have a tape of Videodrome. It's love it, love it. The TV aesthetics in that, love it. Milo's X-Ray. Oh my! I heard about that. I haven't watched any of Blair's videos in a while, but I admittedly do want to watch that one. Have you watched Euphoria? I haven't. Come on, chat. What's your favorite horror movie? Suspiria, darling. The old one. Would you ever consider voice work if such an opportunity appeared? Absolutely. I have done voiceover work. I have done standard 9 of the Alberta pharmacy procedures. Like, you know, that whole thing. Have you seen Blair's live stream with Jessica and Eve? Oh, I watched that go down. When I was your age, you know, like. Yeah, what's going on with Milo? Someone who knows, tell me. Someone who's watched it. What's the most important part of your skincare routine? Using a really shitty camera. What's good, Blair? I mean, Ella. Don't even do that. Don't even go there. Please. I beg you. You think a bass guitar? Hell yeah. I'm just like catching up on the chat. Bleh. Yeah, Milo would do $1. What does this come to? What is this? Is your internet powered by 1 or 2 potatoes? Joke's on you. There's sweet potatoes and there's one. In this house, we only stand Milo Stewart from now on. Bam. Yeah. What's something you'd own a ridiculous amount of? Television sets. I don't know how many I have off the top of my head, but let's just look around. They all have names. Elvis, Yvonne, Phoebe, Tim, Tiny Tim, Shelly, Joaquin, Chad, Chadlet, and Elvira. Do you follow any cosplayers for thirst reasons? I do not have a PVN. Are you still friends with Hi, I Think I'm Real? Yes. He's awesome. He's awesome possum. CRT is the only way to go. I have that Trinitron, baby. So do I. That's the Chad and Chadlet are both Trinitrons. Chad don't work no more. He's going to be recycled. But Chadlet's got cold capacitor syndrome, so he needs to warm up a bit after you switch him on before you actually get a new picture. But the more you use him, the more it should get fixed. And if not, I can get it resoldered. I want to learn to resolder things, so maybe that would be a good opportunity. Team Candace or Team Cardi? Cardi, just because I cannot stand Candace Owens. Never could. Are you still in contact with Shoe and Head? I really like her, but she kind of ghosted me. Which, oof. That's this June again. Oh, I have. But I'm not gonna prod. What's your favorite restaurant kids menu item? I haven't tried that in forever. Yeah, do it. Call June. I think she's got a new number. Did you like Sophie? You know what? I was never the biggest fan of her music, but I really appreciated what she represented. And I appreciated like her visual artistry and presence as well. So that was a tragedy. It's a once in a generation talent gone. Do you drive? No. Well, I'm Scottish too, so it's like. Do you cycle? You should consider a bike. No, I don't. It's too rainy here. And I don't look very good in a helmet. So yeah. Do you know who Caroline Cossey is? Oh yeah. Tula! She's iconic. Naked fishing in BC. I don't know because I haven't been fishing in BC. Are you still friends with that drag queen guy? Like we were really close before I moved to Vancouver, but I've been having a really tough time here, like living alone and having all the restrictions and shit, and it's just been really tough. So I've been pretty distant from everyone, but I really miss him. Have you been to Victoria? Yes, I have. I'm just gonna see this. I'm due to do something this evening, so I'm going to have to call the live stream in like 5 minutes here, 7:30 my time. Um, so there will be more. But dear chat, any last words? Oh, I'm not saying Cardi B's not problematic. I just think Candace Owens is worse. You have 43? Oof. I'm jealous. I wish. Unpopular opinion, but I personally prefer the Superior remake. I don't know how to feel about that. Has it snowed up there recently too? It snowed up here a couple of months ago. Or not a couple of months ago. It was like last month, but it doesn't snow much here. It doesn't really snow in Vancouver. It snows like once a winter, or it snowed once this winter, and it only stuck around for like a day, because it dissolves with the rain. Do you still identify with the term trap supreme, or have you changed your mind on that? I've changed the mind on that, but it's permanently entombed in my grad quote. So I've got to stand by it. What else can I do? Like, What Canadian beer is best, Molson's or Labatt's? Both of those are terrible. You got to drink Alexander Keith's. Have you heard about the latest with Jessica Yaniv? There's more. She lives like 45 minutes away from me. If you go to Toronto, ever go to the Crooked Q with a bunch of people? I've only ever been to Toronto once. We get it, you vape. Oh, that makes me feel old. That meme makes me feel old. Toronto's a interesting place. Do you have any supports in BC? I say Toronto. Toronto's good in the summer and the fall. But the rest of the year, I wouldn't really mess with it. Same with Montreal. Actually, I've always wanted to do Quebec City in the winter. I've always wanted to do Quebec City at like Christmas time, but that's the only exception. Because like I grew up in Halifax. I know what like humid eastern winters are like, and they're not fun. Where do you live again? I live in Vancouver. Yeah, Quebec, just a little bit. Favorite Trailer Park Boys character? I've never watched Trailer Park Boys. I live Trailer Park Boys. I don't need to. Just kidding. I'm not really into it. Would you try a fried lobster meat with lemon butter sauce, a slice of fiddle faddle, and a large blue cylinder of blue Hawaii? That's the most Nova Scotia thing I've ever heard. But instead of blue Hawaiian, make it Alexander Keith's. And that's like, because that's a Nova Scotian brand. So it's like, do you like ContraPoints? I do. If you don't text me though. OMG, wait, what are your thoughts on super straights? I'm like dreading it catching on and becoming like half the guys on Tinder because I already deal with guys like that, like constantly. So anyways, that is 7:30. I need to rock and roll. Thank you everyone so much for joining me, and thank you to all the very generous donations to those of you who provided super chats. I really appreciate it, and they are going straight to part 2 of Real Talk, so that'll be coming eventually, but there will probably be more live streams between now and then. So in the meantime, have a good night and peace out.